All right, good morning, everyone. It is 7 a.m. on this Monday, and we are finally able to sit. I know that you are really glad that we can sit now for the next 30 minutes and talk.
It felt good to stand. You know, you don't want to get too stiff after running a long distance, but yeah, it does feel good to sit down now and take a load off after yesterday's half marathon.
So Maddie did the half marathon yesterday.
She's still got her shoes on. She's still got her running shoes on.
These are my work tennis shoes.
She's ready to run another half.
I've got tennis shoes for every occasion, and these are my work ones for my desk treadmill.
Yeah.
So I gotta
relaxation.
We gotta talk about like what you accomplished yesterday. You were able to accomplish 13.1 miles in 1 hour and 56 minutes. That's very impressive.
Thank you.
I know that was your goal, was to try to go under 2 hours, and you did. I mean, you crushed it yesterday.
In 2018, I ran a half. The Bakersfield half is the only other one I've ever done, and I never had a goal in mind. I didn't listen to times. I had no idea what I was running it in, and I came in at 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Okay.
And so that was pretty good. And I thought this time, well, I just want to match that or beat it.
So you shaved 6 minutes off, which is very impressive.
Yeah, and it's just so crazy because you're running so much faster without even realizing it or trying along the route during the race, because everyone is just pushing you forward so much with their cheers and their kindness and their enthusiasm. It just gives you this surge of adrenaline. I can't even describe. You have to feel it.
That's what I was trying to wonder, is like, as you're running, because I would think that, you know, as tough as it is, with everybody on the side of the streets, it makes it so much easier.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's wild. It's so wild. I just can't even describe it. You really do have to experience it. It just gives you this whole different
boost that
mindset.
mental capacity.
Yeah, it flew by so fast. Fastest hour, 56 minutes of my life.
You know what I love about this event? So I was out there. We were broadcasting live for people on Channel 17 and on our website, kgt.com. And what was amazing to me was seeing when we think of like a marathoner, we think of like an ultra athlete, right? Like someone who dedicates their lives to running. And of course they were out there. They were the ones doing the marathon. And then of course you had people doing the half marathon as well. But what I love to see, so many people were doing the 10K and the 6K. There were some people who were like, I'm just going to walk this. I'm just going to kind of hang out and walk this. And get my heart rate up and be part of this amazing community event. And I think that was what was so cool, was seeing different ages. I mean, look at that kid right there.
I love this little cutie. I think he was 9 years old or 10 years old.
Participating in the 10K.
He was so into it.
And then so you saw families coming together. I saw so many families that just like the stroller. Yep, there it is right there. The strollers were
that
out.
is hardcore, pushing a stroller. That is no joke.
No, yeah, I know.
Done that,
but you
and
saw
don't want to do it
families
again.
doing that. You saw coworkers having like a little group that would get together and hit the streets. And it was just another example of like, this is such a big deal to have the Bakersfield Marathon here. And it's not just for those who are participating in it, but it's just a fun community event for, I mean, everyone. And it was spread out. I mean, you went from Bakersfield College to, the course went down to, I think, near the park at Riverwalk, for the marathon.
Probably for the full marathoners. The half turned around at Beach Park.
Yeah. And so for the marathoners, they went all the way to the park at Riverwalk on the bike path and then turned around.
Wild.
But it was so neat to just see all of that, sprawled out across Bakersfield and the neighbors and
So for running the marathon, what was the hardest part? Half.
Let's be clear, I am not that hardcore.
Our assistant news director Erica did the full marathon,
no.
right?
No, she did the half.
Oh, she did the half.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I saw full. But what was it like to do the half? What was the hardest part of doing the half marathon for you?
I mean, you just have to push through. Any problems. It's really that mental, not letting things stop you along the way. Like, I injured myself. Okay. And well, you're gonna heal it and then you're gonna get right back at it. It's just the not letting things stop you. There's certain things that'll come up along the way. You get sick and it's like, I couldn't run this week. And I hate that because you do lose momentum, but it's like, okay, you're just gonna come back after a week when you're feeling better and start again. And it's just continuing to push yourself even when you feel like stopping. You feel like I've got a lot of great reasons to stop now. Like my IT band
Right.
is so inflamed, and I got norovirus, and then I got another virus.
When you were training.
It's like,
and there was such a huge range because here at 17, you did the half. Erica, our assistant news director, did the half. Cecilia Trevino did
the
a
half.
full
No,
marathon.
she did half. She
Why am
did
I
a
thinking
half.
all these people did
we
fulls?
didn't
I
have
don't think
anyone
we
here
had
do
anyone
a
do the
half.
full.
Yeah, we didn't have
Oh,
anyone
okay.
do a
I thought
full.
she did the 13 point.
that's
That's
13
the
moment. That is a
half.
half.
Oh, that's why I
a
missed
full
that.
is 26.2.
Oh, okay, that's where I was.
And
See, I
let
don't
me
know
tell
my
you,
marathon
Erica
stuff.
has done a full before, and
Yes.
she's like, "You've got to do one full." It's like, do I? Do I
You know what, though?
really?
Talk-
Hats off to our news director. He did a 6K.
And he
Yeah.
did. He did incredible. And I will say, as someone who's not an athlete and someone who has done now halves, if you want to try and good challenge, a half marathon is a good challenge without taking over your life. I think training, from what I've heard, training for a full does kind of take over your life. It takes a big chunk of time to work up to 26 miles.
I mean, it's like 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that weekly, the hours you have to put in weekly
Yeah.
on the road,
Yeah.
they add up, and it can be cumbersome. But I feel like a half is so doable.
And
Like
very-
3 hours a week of running, and you're gonna probably
And
get
a
to
very
your goal.
big feat to accomplish,
It
I
feels,
mean,
it does feel that surge of accomplishment.
But again, what I love too, I mean, we had so many, you did the half, Erica did the half, Cecilia did the half, we had
There's-
our...
Sorry, this
yeah.
is my mother-in-law. Let me give you a shout out to her. She
did a
walked the
10K.
10K,
Yeah.
and she was so proud of herself. And I'm so proud of her because she's had some things that have made it a lot harder for her to run lately. But she's like, but you know what? It's not going to stop me. I'm going to walk. And there we got to
That was
hold the banner for the first female marathoner
From Shafter.
from Shafter.
From Shafter.
Diana Reyes.
So doing-
and
yeah.
she ran it in what was it? Like 3 hours
It was
and
like
30 minutes?
I think no, I
3:45?
think it was I think it was just over 3.
Okay.
I think it was just over 3, which was just so impressive. But I know, talk about like the excitement of just like, we had DJ Danny Hill
Hill.
out there, and he was emceeing it for the crowd, and just getting everyone excited for when the winners were making that final turn back into Pioneer Village. And then giving it their all, just like whatever they had left in the tank, just sprinting across the finish line to finish it.
I have to ask the winner of the women's marathon. Was she tanked when she crossed, or was she talking?
We didn't
about
talk
it?
to her.
Oh, she just kept going.
She went and got her medal and did all of that.
That's
We just
impressive,
held
though.
the banner for her. I'm sure she had her own cheerleaders
entourage,
there who
yes.
were waiting for her.
But to your point, though, okay, so that's kind of the thing that I noticed too. These runners were crossing the finish line, and then they would just keep going, with a smile on their face, grab their medal,
Yeah.
and then walk on. A lot of them went off to the beer garden to carb up again because you're depleted, and so you got to get the carbs back up or get some electrolytes or something to heal, to replenish everything that you've
I
lost.
grabbed Justin's water bottle and I just I
Yeah.
crushed that whole plastic bottle. I just and drank the whole thing.
Yeah,
One fell
you,
swoop.
You need to. But what was so incredible was, I kid you not, the marathon, the guy who ran the marathon, he crossed the finish line and just went and just stopped and like bent down to get his
Okay,
his
like
medal.
it was a piece of cake.
Yeah, he just like crossed the finish line,
Do you know
sprinted
his
and
time? Do
just
we have
stopped.
that? I'm going to pull it up.
I want to say it was like 2:30 or 2:45. I think
it was incredible.
It was incredible, and again from Bakersfield guy,
Yeah.
crossing the finish line. But I spoke to a couple of some of the people when they were crossing the finish line for the half marathon. A lot of people from LA, a lot of people from Southern California who came up to do the half marathon. And one of the things that they said, these are people who like every couple of weeks they're doing some sort of race, right? And they all talked about how they loved participating in our marathon, doing the half marathon. They said the streets are great, the course is great, a lot of support out there. That's why it's so neat to see the community come out, because those runners, they rely on it.
Yeah, that support really does make all the difference. And by the way, Percy is his name, from Bakersfield. He finished in 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's a pace of 6:19, a mile pace of 6:19 per mile.
That's insane.
He ran 26 miles at 6 minutes and 19 seconds a mile for 26 miles straight.
Wow.
Incredible. That is superhuman. Like, it really is.
But
Don't
long
even
stride.
it
you
doesn't
see these,
even
you see
compute.
these superhero. Well, and then like I said, the guy who finished the marathon, he just had his bib on his thigh, and he just he ran it. He just came in and with just, I mean, because he was shirtless, of course, and he crossing the finish line. I don't think he was sweating.
I was impressed.
I know he was.
You don't,
but
and then really the sweat starts when you stop.
when you
It's
stop.
bizarre.
Yeah.
I was impressed even with the lady that was carrying that American flag
Yeah.
and running, because the
Out of weight.
draft that you're getting with that
Oh, and
flag
Right?
pulling you
Yeah.
back and holding it and trying to run. I mean, I was watching that. I was like, wow, I don't know how you do that.
So 4,000 runners, 4,011 runners were out there yesterday. 2,800 of those were from the city of Bakersfield, not Kern County. Like, that doesn't even include you, because you
Yeah.
are Tehachapi. And it was nearly 3,000 of the 4,000 runners were from Kern County.
That's
which
amazing.
was really, really cool to see.
From Kern County.
From Kern County.
Okay.
Nearly 3,000.
I'm looking at all the places people came from, and
came from 16
one of the top
states.
marathoners came from Juneau, Alaska.
Yeah, there were two
Another
runners from
Beaverton,
Alaska.
Oregon.
Where, Oregon?
Beaverton?
Oh, yeah, Beaverton, outside of Portland.
Yeah, someone from Florida,
We had
Illinois.
Yeah, they came from 16 states. We had
Texas.
5 from Florida, 1 from Washington, D.C. Yeah, we had a couple from Texas. Yeah, just all over. And then, of course,
All over the state,
up and
right?
down Southern California. California.
All of California,
All of
yeah.
California. But again,
Arizona.
nearly 3,000 of them. I mean, 75% of
There's
the
the
runners out there,
DC.
from Kern County.
North
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah, incredible.
But I think
pretty
what's kind of
cool.
cool is you're starting to see. So they said that this race was like almost double
Mm-hmm.
what it was last year.
Yeah.
And the year before. You got to remember, this is only the 8th time they've
Yeah.
done this, the 8th annual marathon. And they're, planning, like, how big is this going to get by the time we get to the 10-year?
Yeah.
You
Big
know,
celebration.
and how does this evolve? And so.
Where do we put it?
And where do we put it? And so there's, those talks are happening, like, what is this going to look like? And because even if you're not running in it, put it on your calendars, participate,
Yeah.
grab a lawn chair, sit and cheer on the.
It's
cheer on the
free to go
participants.
out there to the
It's free.
festival grounds. There's food. There's
It's a great
drinks,
time of
there's
year.
live music.
And
It's
we
fun.
know the party continues even if it rains.
Well,
Yeah,
and
we
they
found
have-
that out firsthand.
And I think they're extending like the current bike path areas and stuff like that. I think there's projects in the works for extending that, or maybe they could do something like that.
Yeah, the issue's going to be parking. Like that's
Yeah.
that's
Parking
the
is the
hard
biggest
part
issue.
because it was backed up down Chester at 5:40 in the morning.
I think in time they're probably going to have to maybe have parking at one location like BC.
Well, they
like
did.
at this- well, yeah,
They
but you can
did.
still go to Chester. Yeah,
Well,
But
yeah,
even
but
that
I
was
think
hard
eventually, I
because-
think down the road it's going to be everybody's going to be.
and you're going to
busting
need
there.
more buses to
Yeah.
get them back and forth because the 10K and 6K did have to start late because they were waiting for those buses to come in from BC.
That's probably when
it's
you
hard.
have. I mean, think about it. You had, there was a, they were throwing it out there. They were thinking about the 4,000 runners who were out there. On average, you probably had 2 people per runner join you to support you on. That's an average because you had some that had just, families joining, per runner. You had, I would say, at least between like 8 to 10,000 people just at the museum yesterday. It was incredible to see all of those people there and everyone in a great mood.
Mm-hmm.
And especially those runners, when they finish, talk about, you would expect them to be gassed and tired. They were all just like, you have those endorphins.
You just get
and
high.
You just get that high.
Yeah,
That runner's
it's
high that
so
everyone
cool.
talks about. Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah, it was super fun.
Okay, but let's seriously talk about, like, if you didn't experience the sights and sounds of the marathon, we have our 17 video editor, Jaspreet Multani, who was able to kind of take all of the sights and sounds and put together just this special look of the Bakersfield Marathon. Take a look at this.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, this is exhilarating, and my hat goes off to all of them.
I'm really excited and nervous right now. More excited than nervous.
Good luck to everyone. You guys got this.
my first marathon. It's my second. It feels good to do marathons, having the people cheer you on.
Wow, that was the marathon.
Isn't that cool?
All put together in a beautiful, musical,
Yeah, and I think
fun.
what you saw again there was you saw the two different types of people. You had the runners, the athletes, right, and then you have the spectators. And it is still so much fun for the spectators. You saw the different parts of town. It turns into these block parties. And a couple years ago, I went to one of the block parties in La Cresta, and it was so much fun. Cheering them on, showing, and a lot of this, again, we got a quarter of the people who were participating in this, they're not from here. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
an
incredible.
opportunity to showcase Kern County to these people.
Yeah, exactly. We showcased a beautiful weekend. It's the most beautiful time of year in Kern
Also,
County.
what I love to see was I was out on Saturday night, and a lot of people getting ready, carving up. All of the Italian restaurants in town were full of people getting their pasta and their spaghetti
Nice.
and all of that stuff, getting ready for the big race. And
It is part of the fun, honestly.
it
it's
is.
carving up. It really is. I was like,
Carve it up.
what am I going to eat? Ooh, a
and what did
scone
you-
for breakfast.
What was your last meal?
We didn't really go out. We were at the baseball field for about 7 hours on Saturday, so everything was kind of last minute for us on Saturday.
So what did you carve up on them?
I had a sandwich for lunch
Okay.
on Saturday. That was great. I had a very small, light dinner. I wanted to make sure I ate something, but it was super late, and I was like, I actually would like to go to sleep right now. So I had that. I had some, my favorite thing that I ate, and I made sure I ate, is I make these banana oatmeal pancakes, and maybe that sounds like baby food to some of you, because it sounds weird when I say it, but they're delicious, and I love them slathered in peanut butter, and I feel like they're great running fuel. So I made those up, and I took them with me down to my mother-in-law's, because we stayed here in Bakersfield Saturday night, so we could just drive over from there instead of Tehachapi, and I ate those in the morning on the way. So those were my go-to pre-race fuel.
I picked up our assistant news director, Erica, before the race yesterday morning, and she came out with her bags and everything, getting ready to go, and she had, she was eating oatmeal, and
Nice.
she had those pouches, those chocolate peanut butter pouches.
The goo?
The goo,
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like the run gel?
The rum gel, yeah.
Yeah.
She had a chocolate flavor. Anyways.
Yeah, she said chocolate goo are her favorite.
Yeah,
I found a different brand I like. It's called Huma, and it's more natural, and I felt like it was easier on your stomach. Apparently that's an issue for some people.
Side cramps or whatever? Is that what you mean?
No, just like
Upset
it can
stomach?
upset your stomach from just taking these replenishment gels.
Gotcha.
So
But-
when you were going around, because we just saw the video of the, not just at the museum, but at the all areas of the route. What was your favorite? What was your favorite part of the route?
Finishing it.
Besides
I think her
finishing
favorite
it.
part were those ladies.
The ladies cracked me up. The ladies
And where were they stationed?
in East Bakersfield, I think they were kind of where we were transitioning from Manor to the bike path. I feel like that was the area, and they had on bathrobes and curlers in their hair, and their sign said "Run faster or we open the robes." And I just got such a kick out of it. They were so funny, and there were so many funny signs. And I read every sign as I run past. It's
Yeah,
such
yeah.
entertainment, because there were ones that said, you're doing all this for a free banana. I bet this seemed like a great idea 4 months ago. I love that. There were
It takes your mind off
It does.
the run.
Well, you
because
saw
I made
there-
a playlist, and I didn't even listen to my music. It was playing, but I was so focused on the people on the sidelines, and also just hey, I feel really good. This is cool. But yeah, so it's fun. I make the funny signs. We look forward to them. It's totally worth it.
You know what? We should do something like that next year.
Show us your
Do it.
signs.
Show us your
and
signs.
showcase all the funny signs.
yeah, that
Yes,
people have made.
that would be
Before the
fun.
marathon.
We need to do that. That would be a fun.
There were a lot of
thing.
signs that said, "I only run this fast for the elote man." That was really cute. One that said "Only the wicked run when no one's chasing them." I love that. That cracks
And then
me
you
up.
saw in a clip earlier, you saw the one, all of this for an Apple Watch story.
Story post, yes.
Story post, that is
so
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah, but it
It's
was
so funny.
but
And I talked to someone, like we were running together for a little ways. Like we kept just kind of passing each other back and forth. So we chatted for a little bit, and that was cool. Sorry, Kev, you
No,
were
no,
gonna
I was
ask a
saying I
question.
watch this, and you don't see people running hard. You always think people when running, you're running. But people are at a nice pace.
You
can't.
unless you are
You get gassed
Percy
real quick.
to
Percy,
sprint
yeah.
26 miles essentially,
Yeah,
which is what 6 minutes a mile would be for me is sprinting.
You're trotting.
Yeah, you
nice
have to get a pace where you can sustain it.
But you also have to realize, I mean, these are people who spend sometimes years preparing for these long hauls.
Right.
And it's, it does take, it takes time. But
And
it's,
you may
it's-
think it looks slow, but go out there and run 9:30 mile, and it's not going to feel slow to you.
No.
Or a 10-minute mile. It's not going to feel slow to you.
Yeah.
Oh, that takes me back to high school and having to run the track. I get it.
My son actually told me today he has to run the mile for a test. It's the 5th grade physical education test. He's like, I'm going to run it.
How many is that? 3 laps around the track?
4 laps,
Four laps,
is
yeah,
a
on the
mile.
track.
Yeah, so he's got to run it. I think they have to run it in under 11 minutes, I want to
man,
say.
I remember in high school PE, it was on Mondays we had to do a mile, and then on Tuesdays we had to do 2 miles.
Oh, really? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. I do remember running the mile for a test, and I think I was 8 minutes was my mile time.
When did you get back into running? Because you obviously
I
did
didn't
this
get
in
back
2018.
into. I only got into. I never ran
I'm
before.
talking about after you did the first half marathon in 2018.
I ran on and off for a long time
Okay.
after. I only really stopped and I never really stopped. I'd still run here and there.
Yeah.
I just, during the pandemic, all the races kept getting canceled. So I was signed up for some trail runs, which I was really excited for. And I like trail runs because they're so much easier on your joints. You're running
Yeah.
on dirt and stuff like that. So, and it's just beautiful too, because there's so many things to look at. So, yeah, just when they kept getting canceled, I guess I got kind of discouraged because of that. And the other thing is that I was also just I'm an efficiency person with the kids and being so busy is I can get 45 minutes in without leaving my house, go versus, it's a little longer to run. But so yeah, I just got out of the habit of it.
Did you crash last night afterwards?
Not really. No.
I did text her. I said, "Hey, congratulations
I got him,
today."
and- yeah.
And I said, "How you feeling?" She was good. I'm about to get in a bubble bath.
I did. I took
yeah.
a hot bath. I'm not an ice bath person, I discovered. I tried that a few weeks ago, and I hated it.
Ice baths
I don't think
are
anybody likes
terrible.
it.
No, and I didn't feel good afterwards either. So I was like, "What is the point of this?
Yeah.
This torture?" It was horrible.
So you treated yourself to a nice ice bath.
Yep, a nice bubble
Warm
bath,
I mean, a bubble bath. I mean. Yeah.
and wore slippers the rest of the day. That
you
was
go,
my
there you
recovery.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it felt good.
Now her
super
feet
fun.
can recover.
I mean, I'm going to keep running, so they're probably never going
Yeah, I
to
was gonna
recover.
say, what
Let's
is
be
your-
honest.
like,
I'm
what
never
is-
wearing open-toed shoes again in my life.
What is going to be what is your next goal? Do you want to just continue to maintain this and then pick back up again next marathon, or do you want to just do you have your eyes set on something for later
I'm
on
not
this
going to
year?
do a full.
No, I know that. I'm just
I
saying,
would-
do you have another one that you would be interested in doing later on
A
this year?
different one?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many fun races around California. That
Well, and I got
fun.
to tell you too, there's a lot
James
of
was looking maybe for a guy to run, somebody to run his 100. Was it James?
Oh,
100 miles.
the guy who came in on Friday, he was
Yes.
amazing. He's doing a 100
100
miler
mile.
in May. No, I'm good. I'm good. No, I would like to do one half marathon a year and just keep it a steady pace all year long, and then build up right before the
We should
half.
say there's also a bunch of 10Ks and 5Ks, in Kern County and in Bakersfield throughout the year.
Yeah, it's just
There's
this
a
is
lot of
unique
fun
because I think
runs.
there's only one other half marathon, and this is the only marathon in
Right,
Bakersfield.
right,
So that's
right.
what is so unique about this event.
Yeah, I did the. I try to do the fog run every year. That's a lot of fun.
5K.
Yeah, that's a 5K, and again, so many people that go out there. And
Right
then
around Lake Ming. It's a beautiful route.
It's a beautiful route. It's a beautiful route, and then the toy run, of course,
That's
on
a fun
Christmas
one.
Eve. That's a fun one. And there's 3 or 4, I want to say, during the Christmas season alone.
Oh, gosh,
'Cause
there's so
there's the
many.
Jingle Run, the Santa Run, and
There's
and
the
then
Hanukkah 8K.
8K, and
Uh-huh.
then there's on Thanksgiving, of course, you have the Pie Run and the Turkey Trot.
So many.
Man, there's a lot though. There are a lot, but we have a big running community in Kern
We
County.
do.
I mean, we have a really big avid runners. Same with bikes. I mean, we have a big biking community here
Well,
too.
James, who came in on Friday, Kevin, I know he inspired you a little bit,
little
and
bit,
he
yeah.
was trying to convince you like to get out there and maybe do the 6K or something next year.
Yeah, we'll
what do
see
you
what
think? Have you
happens.
been thinking about it anymore,
No, I
or
didn't
just
think
kind of
about
like forgot about
in
it?
detail. No, it's in the back of my mind.
Is
you
it?
know? No, not for the 6K. Maybe, I don't know. I'm watching all these people doing a 6K. It is inspiring to see all of these people just.
our news
It's about like
director
4
did,
Our news
miles.
director, Mike Trihey.
4 miles or so?
Yeah, it's just over
6K?
4.
Yeah.
It's over
Yeah.
4. So something you may think of?
Maybe, we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, the goal for our news director Mike Trihey, he did it, and he said, I want to come in below an hour. Like he wanted to come in under an hour. And then our Sunrise producer Kaylee Soren, she also did the 6K. She's gonna hate me saying this. She twisted her ankle. But she still completed it. Kaylee, what did you end
So
up? What she's
frustrating.
she's gonna be in our ear telling us.
Such a
When
bummer.
did you? What was your time? What time did you finish?
Did you were able to,
I'm not
wait a
telling.
second, but you did finish.
She did
yeah,
finish.
Kaylee?
Yeah.
Kaylee, that's
But
amazing.
hey,
With
the fact
a
that you
finished
twisted
with an
ankle,
injury.
that was my
No,
biggest
she
fear.
got
That's
the
incredible,
the medal
Kaylee.
and everything.
That's
she got the medal and
incredible.
everything. And then, yeah,
Kaylee
she
said she did run the last part still on her swollen ankle.
Or went up to her
which
afterwards.
Makes me sick to my stomach to even think about. Like, I know that pain.
I went
I'm
up
so
to her,
sorry.
I went up to her afterwards because she was sitting down near our outside studio, and I was going to say like, oh hey, like how did you do? I didn't even get the opportunity to say that. She looked at me and she said, I twisted my ankle. I'm like, oh no! Like,
And there were so everyone
But she
complains about
completed.
the uphill. The downhill is what scares me because
You get too much
people you get
momentum.
too much momentum and people try to like, oh, I'm gonna make up time.
Oh.
That terrifies
that's
me.
also
Because you have
different
weak
muscles,
legs a
too.
little bit.
I mean, and
that you
just
don't rely
Well,
you
that's
get going
also
too
different
fast and
muscles,
one
too.
wrong anything, one wrong placement of your foot, and you could right. That's how.
I'm
That's,
envisioning somebody
yeah.
tumbling.
That's what I was envisioning and going down those hills. Like, give me uphill.
Yeah, and like when you're
Scary.
going uphill, you're using a lot of your quads,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah.
But then when you're going downhill, it's your hamstrings that get
And your
activated, and
knees
joints
are
and-
like
yeah.
getting hit hard.
And that's another thing too that like a lot of people forget is like when they're going up and down, your muscle use changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, it all of a sudden if you're going uphill or downhill more, you're putting more strain, and so
And
you
there were
have
people
to.
flying on those downhills, flying. Yeah, it was crazy.
You know what was also neat to see that I saw was so about every 2 miles there was a water station, and there were nurses from Dignity Health who were stationed, and they were always asking, the runners as they were passing by, like, oh, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? And there was like I think 3 or 4 nurses per station, and
cool.
I thought that was neat too. Like, and they were also kind of not only there to help and protect the runners in case of an emergency, but they were out there too and cheering on the runners and saying like, "How you doing? Do you need help? Like, do you need assistance?" And they're like, "No, like keep on going." And that was also kind of neat to see.
Yeah, it's fun. It's so much fun. They're offering you. I mean, Robert Price had donuts. It looked like he was offering runners. I know a lot of
how
people
you eat
took
a
him up
donut
on that. Erica Torres, our assistant news director, said she once ate a chili dog on a
Really?
half marathon route.
That's a
I don't
sight to see.
understand, but there were people giving out beer and Gatorade and water and those running gels and bananas and oranges. I mean, all kinds
I
of
think I'd get a
treats to keep you
side
going.
ache eating along my run, but
You want to, you want it to be a certain kind of carbohydrate
It
for
depends
you.
on what you're.
And also how you're running too,
Right.
Yeah,
right?
because they had beer stations, they had electrolyte stations, water stations, and yeah. So it kind of also depends on what you need at that moment too.
Yeah.
Sometimes
There was
you
a
just
couple
want
times
some
like my
hydration.
throat was really dry. Like I
Yeah.
do need some water.
You
so,
need some water.
yeah.
You need to swallow down the bugs that have like got
Yeah,
trapped
right.
in. And stuff. Of
notice
course, we
any
didn't have,
bugs.
well, because probably the rain.
Yeah.
The rain kind of
luckily
like
the naps and stuff weren't out just
they weren't
yet
out.
or started.
Yeah.
That would have been
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So.
extra protein though.
There you go.
Guys, we have so much
boost.
marathon coverage, though. Check it out on our website, kget.com, and mark your calendars for March 22nd, 2026.
Yep.
That's the date.
You
for
can't
next
sign
year's.
up yet, but just put it on your
Yeah.
calendar.
Not yet.
And we'll be, of course, talking about it come this fall too.
Yep. We'll get you
Sound
pumped
good,
up
right?
once again.
All right.
Thanks for waking up with us and spending a little time with us for After Sunrise.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, everyone.